So in Japan, there's a very unique class of car called the Kei class, K-E-I. And most Kei cars are very practical things. They're little Kei trucks, or they're little vans, or little family cars where they maximize the amount of room you have in this little tiny volume. However, not all Kei cars are like that. You also can have a Kei class supercar, which is what we have here with the Autozam AZ-1. It is a Kei class supercar complete with crazy ass supercar doors and everything that goes with it. It's fascinating. So what the Kei class is basically about, it's a small car which has limitations on physical size and engine size. They have to have 600 cc's in engine capacity, 64 horsepower maximum, a limited size, and they're called Galapagos cars because, like the Galapagos turtle on the islands off of Ecuador, these little cars only really exist in one place on Earth, and that is in Japan. Autozam is actually a brand of Mazda, so this is technically a Mazda, although the car was actually inspired by a Suzuki show car. It is designed and built just like a Lamborghini or a McLaren or something like that, just shrunk down dramatically. You can see it's very mid-engine. The engine is a 660cc engine. It is set up and designed as much like a supercar as you possibly could have, even though it only has 64 horsepower. You have these intakes, kind of Testarossa style intakes on the side here. You have a nice big wing on the back. Even the taillight design with the two circular lights. This has been a hallmark of like Ferrari style taillights for decades. You have the heat exhaust exits back here, the gull wing doors, which are pretty incredible as well. It's just like a caricature almost of every supercar cliche there is. And it kind of came at an unfortunate time because this is supposed to be kind of a halo K-class car, but it happened to come out right at a time that Japan was going into a recession. So they wanted to sell like 800 of these every month or something like that. And in the end, they only sold about 4,300. It just never caught on the way they wanted it to because it was the wrong car for the wrong time. But it's so cool, and it really does achieve everything they wanted it to achieve as far as being a micro version of a supercar. I think we need to drive this thing. One of the reasons I've read why it didn't sell better than it did was because people were saying it was too cramped, which I guess is true, but I'm pretty small as a person, and that doesn't always have a lot of advantages, but this is definitely one of those times that has an advantage because I don't feel all that cramped in here. I feel fine. There's got to be some advantages for being a, tiny person. This is definitely one of them. Because this thing just feels kind of fun. Like a little motorized jet suit that you get to wear. Yeah, I'm excited to try this thing out. So the, oh yeah. So the team that, designed this car and engineered it was also some of the same people were on the Mazda, MX-5 Miata team. So this was definitely driven or designed to be driven hard. This was designed to be a real driving fun car, a driver's car. And even though it's K-class and only has 64 horsepower, everything about it has still been tuned to make it as satisfying and fun as possible. The steering is incredibly direct. Look how little I'm moving this wheel, and you can see it translates into motion almost immediately. I barked the tires just shifting gears just now because it feels quick. And I know we talk about the idea of slow car fast, and how if you drive a slow car fast, it's more fun, how anything at its limit is going to be a pretty good time, even if that limit is pretty low. This is like the engineering expression of that very idea. This is slow car fast rendered in engineering and put into production because it is maybe not quick, but everything else about this car is designed to feel fast and give you the impression that you're driving fast and hard. And I think it definitely will. So we're gonna take it on the real road here. Oh, listen to that thing. It sounds good too. The shifter is like everything else in the car, tiny, but it's really, satisfying and notchy, and it makes a satisfying ka-thunk when you put it into gear. And again, I guess if you were big, I'm sure you would have some trouble, but for once, everything is my scale. I like it. Look at that. Did you hear the tires bark when I got out of first? Oh my God. How are they doing that with only 64 horsepower? You just design cars like this. You don't need to go that fast to feel like you're going really, really fast. How fast am I going now? I'm not going that bad. I think I'm going the legal limit here even. But it feels like I'm not. It's so good. The airflow is not great because you just have these little portal windows here. But, you know, what do you want? There is AC in this thing. You're low to the ground, so that magnifies the sense of speed also, because it's as much like a little go-kart as you can imagine. I feel like if I open the door like wings, I could probably take off like a plane, at least for a little bit, right? I'm sure I could catch a little bit of air. The sensitivity of the steering is still something I can't quite get over, because it feels sensitive and precise at the same time. I feel like I could sign a check with this thing if I had to, just here on the road. How are the brakes? Well, the brakes are good. This makes a lot of sense to me. 660 cc's, motorcycle-style engine from Suzuki. And, you know, so there was actually a badge-engineered Suzuki version of this same car called the Cara. Oh, if you downshift, whoa. Oh, God, it's fun. They made a lot fewer of the Suzuki Cara versions of this. Made about 4,300 of these, and I think under 500 of the Suzuki badge version, so I think those are incredibly rare. It's a shame it didn't really catch on, but I guess it's a pretty, if you think about it, so a Miata at the time that this came out, this is like a 94, between like 92 and 94, you could get a Miata for not that much more money, and Miata had over twice the displacement. It was more, even a tiny Miata was more of a real car. It had an open roof, so it was a roadster. This, you are in a little shell. You're in a little capsule, and it feels like you're in a little capsule. And while that makes for a really satisfying driving experience, if you want to drive hard, it's not necessarily a relaxed driving experience. You're not having a top-down wind in your hair thing. It's very hard to get the wind in your hair. In fact, you kind of have to grab the wind out of these little holes and put it in your hair manually if that's the effect you want. But for everything else, though, my God, this thing feels great. It's not uncomfortable either. I feel like I could do a road trip in this car, although I would definitely have to figure out the climate control setup here first. The idea of running AC on a 660cc engine, though, makes me feel guilty, like a bad person, like too demanding. Seats are great. I also like how the spare tire is right behind me, because there was really, I guess, just nowhere else to put it in this tiny little thing. And if you had to take this on a trip, yeah, there's some luggage room back there. They give you a little shelf. You could do a couple overnight bags back there. You could do it. It's not impossible. Whoa! Yeah! How do rational people drive these things? I guess a rational people isn't buying an Autozam AZ-1. Let's just be honest. Let's just say that's not even in the equation. If you're a rational person who wants to drive rationally, this is not on your list. But if you're not a rational person, I can't think of a better choice. I love being this low. We live in a world right now where every new car is high. Everything wants to be high and tall. Why do we want that? Why do you want to be perched around in a stepladder while you whiz around? You want to be low. You want to be like a panther snake hybrid, like slinking around fast on the ground as low as you can get. I would pick something like this over like a Cobra or something with a big meaty V8 any day, because look, let's just be honest, I'm not that good a driver. I don't really want to go 200 miles an hour. I'm not qualified. I don't have good enough reaction time. I'm an idiot in so many ways. Ask anybody. But 64 horsepower, all right, I feel like I can handle that. This doesn't feel like you're in a 64 horsepower car. Everything about it says, I'm in a supercar. Sure, it's a scaled down supercar. Who gives a shit? It's fine, and it's attainable, and it's not crazy like a Lamborghini or something like that to maintain, or a Ferrari. It's still a Mazda, basically. Well, Suzuki motor. It's not finicky. It's not fussy. It's not fragile. Yeah, it is a little hot in here right now, and I'm not 100% sure how to change that. But I don't care. I'm still having fun. So I don't know if this is wise, but I had to do one drive with the doors open because it's just too good a thing to not do. Look at the tight turning circle and everything. It's so good. Oh, this is the way to do it. So, this was a blast. Everything about this little dumb thing is fun. It's fantastic. It's just the idea and concept of a fun and a good time just rendered in a small, crazy little compact mass of metal and plastic and rubber. It's amazing. Everybody should drive an AZ-1 at some point in their lives. It's just too damn good. This thing's great. You just load up in deodorant, accept that you're gonna be a little steamy, just go nuts. Oh, there's some cop cars. Hi, Supercar, how are you doing? Yeah. See, that's the other thing. I got the inherent nervousness of around a cop car because I feel like I'm in something fast, but you know what? I'm not really. I'm completely obeying the law. I'm a model freaking citizen over here. Paying my taxes, driving my car at reasonable speeds, but I don't feel like it. I feel like a tax-dodging lead-foot lunatic. Maybe not down. We don't know about the tax dodging. Let's just keep that between us. I'm pretty sure everything's accounted for.